Hi everyone, this is the CRM Ninja coming to you with another Oops Factor story. Tonight, I have the great pleasure of having Paddy Byrne, which hopefully I pronounced properly because I don't have a Scottish accent here. How are you doing, Paddy?
Yeah, I'm good. CY, really good. You did well in the Scottish the pronunciation there.
I'm no Sean Connery, I can tell you that much.
You rolled it out enough.
I'll work on it. I'll continue working on it for next time. So it's great to have you on the show. So before we go into the story, or your story that you want to share, something that people may not know about you, if they haven't looked into your background, is that you're actually a skydiver.
I
Uh,
am, yes. That's my other passion is skydiving. Yeah,
it's a great passion. I shared it myself for a number of years. So how did you get into skydiving to begin with?
it's always something I wanted to do. Just from I really like stunts and things like that when I was a kid. I've always watched stuntman videos, and I always wanted to do a tandem jump. So I did a tandem jump, and it was good. I really enjoyed it, but I quite liked the airfield, this kind of social environment in the community around the airfield, where everybody kind of planning their jumps and doing formation things on the ground, and it seemed like a really good environment. So I just thought, you know what, I'm not doing anything else on my weekends. I mean, so just all I'm
Ah,
doing is sitting in the pub. I may as well just start this, and just got into it from there. Just booked a trip to Seville and did a week over abroad,
you
and
did it
that's it
abroad.
ever.
I did my
Yeah,
training
yeah.
here in the UK. I remember jumping one late November at about 7:30 in the morning, where on the ground it was -3, and where I got out of the aeroplane at 15,000 foot, it was quite a lot lower than that.
Yeah.
I couldn't feel my fingers at all on
Well,
landing.
our aircraft in Scotland, it's very cold jumping at this time of year, especially in Scotland. But our
Who,
aircraft,
who would have thought Scotland cold at this time of year?
yeah, our aircraft hasn't got a door. It's a wee four-seater Cessna that's literally
Okay.
like four people sitting on the floor with no door at all. So when you get to 10 grand, it's very chilly.
So yeah, no, you're right. The community is really really good. It was something that I felt very drawn to when I was skydiving. For people who have no idea about the size of the UK skydiving community,
Mm,
um, it averages 3,500 people across the UK who
mm,
are
yeah.
skydivers jumping themselves. That's not tandem jumpers, but those are qualified skydivers. So it's really really small, but it's a
Hmm.
really great camaraderie within the community and is really good. A bit like, in fact, the Dynamics community.
Yeah, it's very similar. I mean, as soon as you actually, I jump in the Algarve quite a bit, so I do most of my jumps. As soon as you go over somewhere and you meet someone, you'll meet. I sometimes go over myself, and you meet people there, and then next thing you're swapping numbers and you're arranging to go over. Next time you're over in Ireland, hook me up and we'll do some jumps. It's
Yeah,
really open. Yeah, it's a really good community, and that's what I said. That's what attracted me to it. Wasn't the thrill as such, although that's good as well. It was the
for me, I
it,
started it and continued it because of the thrill. I'm quite drawn to the adrenaline stuff. I have a motorbike. I actually did an unofficial survey back when I was, doing lots of jumps and stuff. And did you know that over 35% of the UK skydiving population um, are actually IT professionals in one way or another?
that's not a surprise at all, actually, because this seemed to attract that kind of group. It's all IT professionals, accounts. There's a few teachers and things in there, but it's very much desk workers that tend to seek out skydiving. You tend not to get that many creative people, like designers or anything like there. For some reason, it just attracts that. I don't know. I suppose it's a release, isn't it?
Yeah,
So if you're
I
at a
guess so,
desk and
balancing out the life. Anyhow,
yeah,
let's move on. So you have a story or a couple of stories to share with us about your own Oops Factor stuff. So go
yeah.
for it, all yours.
So yeah, I've got an oops factor one, and I've got more of an factor one because it's a drawn out oops.
An
That
extended
affects the stomach.
Oops.
Extended oops is more of a factor. So I'll start off with the oops factor one, quite a quick one. Um, I was working on a project with a previous company, and we were very tight deadline. I think we'd actually missed the deadline, so it was all hands on deck to
Right,
deliver.
one of
Uh,
those.
yeah, it was. I think it was CRM 2013, and it was like an extension of an existing system we'd had there. Or they'd been using CRM for a while, but they wanted some more functionality added, and it was all again all hands on deck. And I was quite I was quite young in my career. Young as a consultant, I'd been working with CRM for quite a while as a user.
Okay.
But quite young and working on a project of that size, because it was quite a big one. It was kind of 4,000 users, so a decent size.
That's a
And
really decent sized project.
yeah, which makes it even more when you waste a day of development, which is coming
Wow.
to. But I was putting, I was doing a lot of ribbon work for this. Using the ribbon workbench at the time,
It's a great
and
tool.
it's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal tool. It's just me using it this time. It wasn't so good. It's got me out a lot. It's saved me so much time. But I was using the ribbon workbench, and we were all hands on deck, trying to get this project out the door. I'm all working on the same thing, and me just grabbed the solution that we were working on in the ribbon workbench, and I was doing lots of ribbon work. And the warning signs were there because we didn't really communicate. We should have really just communicated at the start. Say, this is what I'm doing today. We just kind of came in and started work. And
So no like daily stand-ups or stuff like that.
no, there was nothing like that. No, it was very much let's just get on with this. And had we communicated, we wouldn't have came into this situation. But I just grabbed the solution, and it was a big solution file. And again, the warning signs were there. Every time I hit publish on my ribbon workbench, people kept complaining about the system running slow, things like that. And then as the day kind of went on, it became clear that bits of work were going missing.
Missing.
Yes, I think you know where I'm going with this. And that I was working on the same solution.
Not a clue.
Not that. I was working on the same solution as everyone else. Obviously, downloading it into the ribbon workbench, making my customizations at the same time they were all making their customizations, and uploading the solution back into the environment and wiping all their solutions. And of course, because it was such a stressful time, everybody's going, did I do that? I'm sure I did that, but where's that gone? And by the time we actually figured out what was going on, like more than half a day was gone, and the whole day, half day of development time gone for three of us developing on it at the same time. My stuff was out there because all my
you had
all my
published
buttons
it.
were there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All my stuff was there, but the other two developers and consultants that were on there, I wasn't the most popular person in the office that day.
So how moving forward did you learn from that in terms of customizing the ribbon?
Yeah, so I mean that's just bringing smaller solutions down, just bringing down what you need, and again a bit more communication to begin with would have been helpful if we'd kind of said, right, this is what we're doing today. I was obviously quite kind of new at the time at doing customizations like that, and so I should have known just to pull down the bits of the components that I needed, and not to include, again, it's CM 2013, so it was before solutions could be broken into different components. You had to just take the full entity.
In those days.
Yeah, and nowadays you would just take the bits that you need. Well, you use the new edit, but if you're in the ribbon workbench, you would just take the bits that you needed and not take the whole thing and publish over everyone else's changes. And
now, of course, you would have daily stand-ups as well. I have noted from your LinkedIn profile that you are a certified Scrum Master. So.
I am, yes. Yeah, I've worked with Scrum for quite a while now, but it's something that in my current company we don't use so much. And it's something that I'm trying to implement, and it's one of my kind of missions this year to be a bit more agile and kind of start focusing on improving those consultancy skills, those core consultancy and business analysis skills.
Yeah, no, it's very important. Well, you have about 25 days left of the year and of the decade. So hopefully in those 25 days you can implement appropriate stuff. But it's definitely something I've seen myself, and people just want to get immediately down to work or fighting fires, and they don't start thinking about the bigger picture and about the communication when it's really so good. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
No problem.
Did you said you had another one? And
I have another one. Yes. Yeah. If I've got time, I've got. So there's more of an factor. So this was we're working on I had a client come in, and their existing client, very successful CRM, like in 2015, I think, implementation. And they loved CRM, and they wanted to implement CRM to help do their fleet management. So they did sales cycle and customer service stuff. They wanted to do fleet management in CRM, and It was really to satisfy one user. There was one guy who managed the fleet. So I think quite a small project that, and they wanted to use the customer service scheduling calendar for this fleet management. And they came and spoke to us, and the guy the one user that it was for was there. Didn't really say much, and that should have again set alarm bells ringing. He had a spreadsheet he was wanting to replace, and we said, yeah, we can do it in CRM. And,
why not? CRM could do anything, right?
Why not? And we started the build, and it was so custom. It was very highly customized, because I don't know if you ever tried to cut how much you customize that kind of service calendar part. It doesn't work well with workflows and automation, and the whole thing started to grow arms and legs and turn it a bit of a mess. And we had plugins mirroring records at each type, and plugins firing to update other records, and it all got really messy. And it was for one person, and every time we had a meeting, we said, maybe this isn't the right place to do it. Maybe this is, but they kept saying, yeah, that's fine. I just want it in CRM. And of course,
so the client was pushing you to do this in CRM, and you were trying to convince them possibly that maybe CRM wasn't the right place.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we started hinting at it. We weren't forceful enough, and that's really the lesson that was learned. And eventually, we rolled it out, and the one person that had spent weeks doing this build for just says, I'm not going to use that. I just want a spreadsheet. And
right.
And there was a lot of difficult conversations we had between the account manager and the client. But
I can imagine
the lesson there was, and it's I've read a book recently called it's Getting Naked: A Business Fable About Shedding Three Fears That Sabotage Client Loyalty. And it's one of the things that was off the back of Mark's mentoring challenge, and it's all about standing up to a client and being naked and just being blunt with them and saying, you shouldn't do this. Because right at that first meeting, we could kind of see that this wasn't going to work, and we just didn't stand up. And I didn't just stand up as a consultant. I don't think I did my job fully and say, hold on, let's get more access to this user and find out exactly what he needs, as opposed to just trying to shove it into make it fit into CRM where it clearly doesn't.
So sometimes it's really difficult to have to turn around to the client and say, look, your vision of what you want is actually wrong, and these are the reasons for it. Obviously, there needs to be the management of perceptions of things. You might not use the word wrong. I remember a quote from a very, very experienced developer back in Summit 2018 in Ireland. And he turned around and he said, I can make CRM do practically anything. The question is, should I be making? And that was from a developer. We're leaving aside, now we've moved on to, low code, no code with Power Platform. But just because you can make something do it doesn't mean it's the right place to do it. And that's really stuck with me. And that sort of, trying to explain to clients, here is how the technology can enable you, but it's not about one thing being the end all be all solution.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also important to make sure you've got access to that, to the actual user, the person or someone who's going to be using the system, as opposed to the stakeholders. And that was one of the other problems there, where, yes, we did have had limited access to the user, but it was definitely shielded, and it was the stakeholders were very forceful in that they wanted this, and we should have really insisted, yes, we want to speak to this guy and find out how he wants to use the system, what system he wants.
And sometimes in these cases, you can run into internal company politics, whereby a senior manager wants something that is not necessarily for the best of the users, and you need to navigate those very, very murky waters. Yeah,
absolutely.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. We hope that everybody who's watching this has enjoyed it and hopefully learned something helpful for it. Please feel free to subscribe. There will be many more episodes coming. And one last question for you, Paddy, which is, if you could nominate anyone to come on the show and share their Oops Factor story, who would you nominate?
There's a guy who's just become a bit more active in the community called Dave Clark. He's just kind of started being a bit active in the community. I'm sure he's got some real fun stories to tell.
I'm making a note. I'll reach out. Do you know Dave personally?
I do know Dave, yes. I'll put you in contact with him.
So yeah, if you could facilitate an introduction, we'd love to get him on it.
Nice one. Thanks very much, EY.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Bye.